Attention passionate Buffalo, BILLSFANS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Buffalo Bills' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Buffalo Bills fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Buffalo, BILLSFANS. Let's get to the news now. Folks, buckle up because there's some serious buzz swirling around the NFL, and it's all centered on a potential blockbuster move that could shake up the AFC East in a big way. Rumors are swirling that the Kansas City Chiefs might be open to trading their star defensive tackle, Chris Jones, to the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, you heard that right. The Bills could be about to bolster their interior defensive line in a huge way. And it's all happening because of some cap-driven restructuring the Chiefs are doing after a less-than-stellar 6-9 record so far this season. Let's set the stage here. The Chiefs, who have been a powerhouse for years, are now in a bit of a cap squeeze. Despite their Super Bowl success in recent seasons, they're reportedly willing to move on from Chris Jones, a player who's been the anchor of their defense for several years. Why? Well, Kansas City is trying to free up around $20 million in cap space. And in doing so, they're possibly looking at moving their top defensive lineman, a move that surprised many, but makes sense from a cap management perspective. The Chiefs are prioritizing their offense and focusing on developing their young quarterback and wide receivers, which makes the potential trade even more intriguing for Bills fans who are always on the lookout for ways to improve their roster. Chris Jones, drafted in 2016, has built an impressive resume over his career. We're talking about a guy who's totaled over 80 sacks, with around 334 tackles, making him one of the most disruptive defensive tackles in the league. His PFF grade is consistently high, sitting around 89.0, and he's been a nightmare for opposing offensive lines. In 2025, Jones has continued to be a force with 24 tackles, 4 sacks, and 10 pressures, maintaining an elite PFF grade of 85.0. His presence alone commands double teams, and he's proven capable of collapsing pockets and shutting down the run game. Last season, he was a major factor in the Chiefs' defense, elevating their run defense by over 200 yards allowed, and his ability to generate pressure and sacks has been crucial for Kansas City's success. Now, why is this such a big deal for the Bills? Well, the Bills have been looking to upgrade their interior defensive line for some time. Last season, Buffalo registered a total of 40 sacks, but they've been lacking that elite, game-changing presence in the middle. Bringing in Chris Jones could be a seismic shift. He'd immediately add about 8 projected sacks to the Bills' total, potentially reducing their points allowed from around 22.9 per game down to closer to 18. That's a game-changer. Plus, Jones's ability to generate pressure from the interior would boost the Bills' overall pass rush, especially alongside players like Gregory Rousseau and Von Miller if he returns healthy. The Bills could turn into a trench nightmare for opponents, and that kind of interior disruption is exactly what they need to take the next step and become a true Super Bowl contender. Let's talk about the numbers a little more, because it's pretty fascinating. With Jones on board, the Bills' chances of climbing into that elite tier skyrocket. His projected impact is enough to push their Super Bowl odds from plus 600 earlier this season to around plus 300. That's a huge jump, and it's not just about the stats. It's about the confidence and swagger that a player like Jones brings to a defense. His presence could be the X factor that pushes Buffalo over the top in the postseason, especially considering how tough the AFC has become with teams like Kansas City, Cincinnati, and Jacksonville all vying for supremacy. Now, don't forget, this isn't just about adding a star player. It's about a strategic shift. The Bills are already one of the most potent teams in the league, especially offensively, but their defense has been the key to their success. Improving the interior line with someone of Jones's caliber could turn them into a true trench war team. Imagine a defensive line that's constantly collapsing the pocket, forcing turnovers, and setting up the offense with short fields. That's the kind of football that wins championships. Plus, with Jones's experience and production, he'd serve as a veteran leader in the locker room, helping to mentor the younger players and elevate the entire defensive unit. Of course, there are questions. The Chiefs are reportedly asking for 2 second-round picks in exchange for Jones, which is a steep price, but given his impact and the fact that he's in the final year of his contract, it might be a gamble worth taking for Buffalo. The Bills have been aggressive in recent years, making bold moves to improve their roster, and this could be the ultimate splash. It would send a message to the rest of the league that Buffalo is all in on a Super Bowl run, especially with the window opening wider as teams like Kansas City look to rebuild and reset. And don't forget, the Bills have been quietly building a team that's ready to contend. They already have a strong offense led by Josh Allen, a dynamic receiver core, and a defense that's been improving year after year. Adding Jones would give them that extra push, that inside presence that can change the course of games. It's the kind of move that could define their season and set the tone for years to come. Imagine the Bills becoming a trench-dominant team, where the interior line is their secret weapon, making life miserable for opposing quarterbacks and enabling their linebackers and secondary to thrive. Now, what does this mean for the AFC East? Well, it's huge. If Buffalo pulls off this deal, they immediately become a more complete team, capable of competing at a higher level in the playoffs. It could also shift the power dynamics in the division, leaving the Dolphins and Jets scrambling to keep pace. The Dolphins have their own issues, and the Jets are still trying to find consistency, but the Bills would be positioning themselves as the team to beat, especially if they can leverage Jones's talent and leadership. In terms of timeline, this deal could happen surprisingly quickly if the Chiefs decide to pull the trigger. The NFL trade deadline is approaching, and with the market heating up, teams are looking to make moves that can impact their seasons. For Buffalo, this isn't just about adding a player. It's about transforming their defense into a championship-caliber unit. The coaching staff, led by Sean McDermott, would certainly be excited about integrating a player like Jones into their scheme, knowing how much his disruptive ability could elevate the entire team. Of course, there are some skeptics. The cost is high, and some wonder if the Bills should bank on their current roster or focus on the draft. But in today's NFL, sometimes you've got to swing big if you want to win big. With the AFC so competitive, especially with powerhouse teams like Kansas City, Cincinnati, and Jacksonville, Buffalo needs to seize every opportunity to improve. Bringing in a player of Chris Jones's caliber might just be the move that puts them over the top, especially in the playoffs where interior pressure and run-stopping ability can decide the game. Looking ahead, if this trade happens, it could be the beginning of a new era for the Bills' defense. Jones's presence would create a ripple effect throughout the team, boosting confidence and providing a formidable inside presence that opponents will have to game plan around. It's a move that could redefine their identity as a trench team, emphasizing dominance at the line of scrimmage, which is always a recipe for postseason success. So Bills fans, stay tuned because this story is still developing. Will the Bills make the move for Chris Jones? It's still in the rumor mill, but if it happens, it's going to be one of the most talked about trades of the season. For now, keep dreaming about what this defense could look like with a player like Jones anchoring the middle, and imagine the possibilities. More sacks, fewer rushing yards allowed, and a real shot at that elusive Super Bowl. The AFC East is already competitive, but with this move, Buffalo could be turning the tide in their favor, cementing their status as a true powerhouse for years to come. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Buffalo Bills news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Buffalo Bills fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential blockbuster? Do you believe the Bills should go all in and trade for Chris Jones? How would his addition change their chances for a deep playoff run? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Bills organization. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Buffalo Bills news. This is the kind of move that could define a season, and we're here to keep you in the loop every step of the way.